This existential psychotherapy is sort of a way of approaching this topic of reconstruction, looking at the givens of human existence, understanding how to live within those realities of our lives. And I think that Jesus as a figure is someone that evangelicals particularly want to find a place for in that conversation. But I think that that's part of the way that that's often going to look for people. Or as Brendan mentioned, sometimes there's the opposite effect, which is a very strong reaction against. I had a conversation a while back with someone who's like said that they were triggered even talking about Jesus at all or referring to the Bible or this sort of thing. And so there's a lot of different ways to go. And Christian atheism or death of God theology has sort of always sort of been hanging around theological scholarship on the periphery but maybe it's never quite made it into the discussion for a number of reasons, which are understandable for people who not only don't want to give up Jesus as a figure, but kind of give up God entirely, the big other, or disappearing from existence altogether. And then ultimately through the death of Jesus, so this sort of radical canonic incarnation and then the crucifixion, that, some of these theologies are perhaps thinking of Jesus in a way that goes too far for the ex-evangelical or the person that kind of comes from more of a Christian tradition. Well, I mean, it could be appealing to, like Peter Rollins and Zizek and many others that sort of like are willing to kind of go there, and then but there's a number of people in the ex-evangelical community which perhaps really aren't, or feel threatened by or don't find it useful to go down that path. And, I try to be aware of this and doing spiritual direction with people. It's not my role to sort of like preference a particular path a person takes or kind of project upon them my own thinking or other people's thinking, but to really support them in their journey in the process of them kind of living through that deconstruction and reconstruction without imposing too much, give a person the freedom and the autonomy to kind of work through these things step by step and not necessarily try to impose a coherent system to buy into theologically or maybe even philosophically.